The bourbon bottle was still sweating when her phone buzzed for the third time that hour, not the usual obnoxious mariachi ringtone she'd set for her sister, but this muted purr that made my neck hairs stand up like rusty nails. I watched her thumb swipe left so fast she nearly knocked over her wine. Delete. Always to the left. Funny how I'd never noticed that until tonight. Jin's got another package for you? I asked, nodding at her phone face down on the counter. My voice sounded like I'd swallowed gravel. Could have been the Jim beam. Could have been the fact that her work friend Jin had suddenly started texting like a goddamn Soviet spy. Package secured. Confirmed drop point. Who the hell talks about Tupperware parties like they're moving contraband? Lisa froze mid-pour, Merlot sloshing over the rim of her glass. It's just supply chain stuff, she said, too breezy, wiping the spill with a paper towel she'd balled up like a stress toy. You know how Karen gets when the linen shipments are late. Karen. Right. The woman who'd accidentally texted Lisa last month about booking a couple's massage at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I'd made a joke about happy endings that night. She'd laughed so hard she snorted Pinot Grigio through her nose. Now here we were, eating meatloaf so dry it could have doubled as a doorstop, and I was counting her eye flicks toward that fucking phone like it owed me money. 3 bites in, she dropped the bomb. The girls want to do a weekend in Sedona. Meditation retreat or something. Her forked tine screeched against the plate. Figured I could use the reset. I let the silence hang like a busted muffler. Watched her tongue dart to fix her lipstick, Revlon's Scarlet Siren, a shade she hadn't worn since our anniversary. The kind of red that leaves stains. Sedona, huh? I leaned back, chair groaning under my weight. Better check your suitcase for scorpions. Heard they crawl into warm places when it rains. Her laugh came out shrill. You're such a worrier. Me? Nah. I jabbed my fork at the garage door behind her, where my old Snap-on toolbox sat gathering dust. Just saying, if you're gonna squirrel away emergency cash, make sure it's not in the spare tire. Humidity'll turn Benjamins into papier-mâché. Her neck flushed that telltale pink. Bingo. By midnight, I was alone with the crickets and a half-finished engine rebuild I'd been working on for 6 months. The garage reeked of WD-40 and paranoia. I waited until the bedroom light clicked off before palming her phone from the kitchen charger. Jin, he suspect anything? Lisa, too busy with his precious tools. Meet you at 10? Jin, don't forget the key. Key. Singular. Not keys. I traced the grease-stained calendar hanging next to the fuse box, every third Thursday circled in Lisa's loopy handwriting. Book club. Right. Because nothing says literary analysis like meeting at a Red Roof and off I-17. The real kicker? The faint smell of Aramis cologne clinging to her passenger seat when I'd borrowed her car last week to fetch antifreeze. Same musky shit my stepbrother Carl bathed in before his weekly trips to the dog track. I placed her phone back exactly 1.5 inches from the edge of the counter. Adjusted the bourbon bottle's angle by 3 degrees. A little trick I'd picked up after catching my apprentice skimming parts money back in '09. Let her wonder why the label's facing the fridge now. Upstairs, Lisa's breathing feigned sleep too perfectly. I stared at the water stain on the ceiling shaped like Florida, just like always, and wondered how many lies it had heard over the years. The phone buzzed again downstairs. Package delayed. I closed my eyes. Thunderstorms en route. The forged bank statement smelled like betrayal and laser printer toner. I'd spent 3 nights tweaking the numbers in the basement, using the same graphic design software I'd once employed to make Sarah's middle school science fair posters. Irony tasted like Folger's crystals and spite. When I accidentally left it sticking out of my toolbox that Tuesday morning, I made sure the $412,759.23 total was angled toward the kitchen window. Lisa's favorite gossip perch while sipping her saccharine vanilla lattes. She found it within 7 minutes. I watched through the warped glass of the garage door as her manicured finger traced the Wells Fargo logo. I'd botched slightly. The stagecoach horses had 5 legs instead of 4. Would she notice? Her breath fogged the paper when she leaned closer. Bingo. Since when do we bank at Wells Fargo? She asked that night, casual as a landmine, stirring her taco soup like it owed her answers. I shrugged, channeling my best clueless grease monkey. Switch last month. That Chase fraud department kept freezing my card every time I bought parts from Mexico. A half-truth. They'd flagged my $287 transmission fluid purchase in Nogales last spring. Why? The statement come. Her knife sawed through a dinner roll with surgical precision. Must have gotten lost. You know how the mail is. Huh. I slurped my soup loud enough to make her twitch. Probably mixed up with your Bed Bath & Beyond coupons again. The shadow play began in earnest after dessert. I waited until her book club alarm chimed, 7:45 p.m., same as every Thursday, before hauling the Decoy safe into the garage. A $129 stack on from Home Depot, spray-painted gunmetal gray to mimic my real fireproof beast buried under 2 tons of engine blocks behind the house. The combo lock clicked satisfyingly as I spun it, 22-15-36. Our wedding date backwards. Goddamn property taxes, I muttered loud enough to wake the neighbor's chihuahua, cramming shredded newspaper from last NFL season into the metal box. Should have bought gold like Carl said. Fucking idiot. Her silhouette materialized in the window above the workbench, motionless as a sniper. I counted 7 full breaths before she retreated. The real performance came next morning. I hid the safe behind a sagging shelf of brake fluid cans, making sure to brush fresh cobwebs across its front for authenticity. Left the garage door conspicuously unlocked. Drove to Denny's for my ritual senior coffee, black, 2 sugars, and parked where I could watch our driveway through binoculars. She arrived in a Lyft at 10:17 a.m. Smart. No license plates to trace. From 3 blocks away, I tracked her progress via the nanny cam I'd installed in the smoke detector, a little trick learned from that meth head who kept stealing my catalytic converters last fall. Watched her freeze when the shelf groaned, hesitate at the cobwebs, then blow hair out of her face with that determined smirk I'd once found endearing. Her fingers danced across the combo lock. First try, 15-22-36. Our actual anniversary. Second, 36-22-15. Third, 22-15-36. The safe popped open with a hollow clang that probably echoed in her hollow soul. I sipped my cooling coffee, throat tight, as she frantically riffled through the newspaper strips. Watched her palm slam against the metal interior. Saw the exact moment she spotted the handwritten note I taped inside, a single line in my blocky mechanic script. Next time, check the horses. She tore it to confetti. By the time I sauntered home, she'd replaced every canister exactly 1/8 inch off its original position. Amateur. The WD-40 cap's orientation gave her away, facing northeast instead of due west. Mail came. She chirped that evening, sliding an envelope across the table with trembling fingers. Divorce papers peeked out beneath a Bed Bath & Beyond coupon. Thought you might want first look. I pocketed it unopened. Thanks, darling. I'll save it for next time the toilet paper runs out. Her laugh sounded like a balloon deflating. Upstairs, Sarah's bedroom TV blared Law and Order reruns, the episode where the husband poisons his wife's tea. I wondered if she'd remember that detail later. That night, I fell asleep to the sweet sound of Lisa whispering urgently into her closet, and the softer click of my voice-activated recorder under the floorboards. The suitcase wheels hadn't even stopped echoing down the driveway when I tore open the garage wall panel. The monitors flickered to life, bathing me in the sickly blue glow of Lisa's betrayal. Camera 3 caught her first, leaning against Carl's dented Silverado at the Shell station, tapping a Virginia Slim like it personally offended her. My stepbrother's arms snaked around her waist, fingers brushing the exact spot where my wedding band used to rest. "You're late," Carl barked, his voice tinny through the $79 baby monitor I'd stuffed in a nearby dumpster. He still wore that same snakeskin belt buckle I'd won at Pahrumpo for, the one he'd borrowed and never returned. Lisa blew smoke in his face. Had to make sure the old man bought the retreat story. He's been twitchy. Carl's laugh triggered my molars to grind. Twitchier than a meth head at a SWAT convention? Can't imagine why. He palmed her phone, squinting at the Decoy safe photo I'd accidentally left in her cloud feed. This the score. 400 grand. Maybe more. Her lie came smoother than her Botox. But Willie's onto something. Last week he. Don't care. Carl kicked a beer bottle that shattered against the pump. I want half. Tonight. The camera caught it then, Lisa's left thumb rubbing her ring finger. A tell she'd developed during Sarah's colicky nights. We agreed on 30%. We agreed before I had to torch that Nissan title. Spittle flecked Carl's chin. You owe me for covering your ass when the DMV came sniffing. Ice water flooded my veins. The title. That 98 Pathfinder we'd sold to the college kid last fall. Lisa had handled the paperwork. Said she'd lost the receipt. Turns out she'd lost it in Carl's bonfire. Lisa stepped closer, all honeyed venom. You'll get your cut when the money clears. Unless you want me to mention those pitbull fights behind the... Carl's hand found her throat. Not squeezing, just resting. A threat older than our shared DNA. Half. Or I show Willie the photos from Reno. The feed pixelated, but not before I saw her flinch. Reno, our 10th anniversary trip, where she'd gotten food poisoning and slept 36 hours straight. Turns out Carl had been there too. His parole officer confirmed he'd been working a blackjack tournament that weekend. I reached for the bourbon, remembered I'd replaced it with apple cider vinegar, and spat instead. The monitors showed empty pavement now, but the real show played in my skull on loop. Carl's smirk, Lisa's trembling hands, that goddamn belt buckle. In the garage, the Decoy safe mocked me. I wrenched it open, inhaling the tang of shredded sports pages and regret. My fingers found the second layer beneath the false bottom, a Ziploc bag containing 3 items. Carl's overdue rent notice from 2017, a photo of Lisa entering a payday loan shop, and Sarah's stolen social security card. The puzzle pieces scorched my palms. This wasn't some heat-of-the-moment affair. This was a fucking merger. Midnight found me elbow deep in Carl's trash again. The baby monitor had gone silent, but his kitchen window blazed yellow. Through the cracks in his nicotine-stained blinds, I watched them count imaginary money. Lisa's laugh tinkled like broken glass. Carl toasted her with my missing Craftsman wrench, the 10mm, naturally. I left a present in his mailbox, a vintage Greyhound ticket stub from Reno dated our anniversary. On the back, a single word in brake fluid, checkmate. Let him explain that to his new business partner. The drive home tasted like copper and possibilities. By dawn, I'd converted Sarah's old treehouse into a surveillance nest. Through the rifle scope, I tracked Lisa's return, sans suitcase, but with fresh scratch marks down her shoulder. Sedona treat you right? I asked, nodding at her wounds. She touched the scabs, a flicker of real fear in her eyes. Hiking accident. Funny. I tossed her the Neosporin from the junk drawer. Carl always did suck at trail navigation. Her smile died mid-twitch. The game had changed. So had the rules. The angina attack required props. I swiped Sarah's expired nitro pills from her high school first aid kit, crushed half into my coffee, and waited for the chest tightness that never came. Plan B, 3 shots of espresso and a Viagra chaser. By the time Lisa strutted in smelling of Carl's cigars and guilt, my left arm genuinely felt numb. Willie. Her Oscar-worthy gasp echoed through the ER parking lot where I'd strategically collapsed against my 86 F-150. Perfect sightlines for the security cameras. Somebody help. I clutched my chest, wheezing like a dying lawnmower. Top drawer, living room, insurance. Her grip on my shoulders tightened a shade too urgently. Which policy? The term life or the whole? Classic. Even my hypothetical corpse had dollar signs. Paramedics played their part, slapping EKG pads that showed a rhythm more erratic than Carl's poker face. Lisa rode shotgun in the ambulance, thumb flying across her phone. Through slitted eyes, I watched her text thread bloom. Carl, he croak yet? Lisa, not sure. Get the angle grinder ready. Carl, half now, or I torch everything. The cardiac wing smelled of bleach and opportunity. When the nurse left to check my meds, Lisa materialized bedside, mascara streaked like war paint. They need your healthcare proxy, she whispered, pen poised over a form I recognized, not medical, but a quitclaim deed for the house. I coughed weakly, nodding toward the plastic water pitcher. Backup key, garage floor. Her pupils dilated. Key to what? I let my head loll, watching her lean closer through fog lashes. The ice machine. She recoiled like I'd spat acid. My monitor beeped merrily as I drifted into a faked morphine nap, listening to her heels click toward the vending machines. The real show happened in my jeans pocket, her trembling fingers fishing for keys she'd find weren't there. Discharge papers came with a wink from Nurse Brenda, an old drag racing buddy who owed me for fixing her son's DUI. Next time, she stage whispered, ease up on the Tabasco in the eyes. Your Scara looks like raw hamburger. Homecoming brought fresh theatrics. Lisa fluffed pillows that hadn't been touched in years, her concern undercut by the way she kept eyeing the garage. I waited until midnight's witching hour to shuffle downstairs, making sure to kick the loose floorboard by the thermostat. The shadows moved before I reached the kitchen. Through the window, I watched her silhouette pry up the garage's rotted threshold board with my missing tire iron. She emerged minutes later clutching the backup key, actually a 1972 Pontiac ignition cylinder I'd planted under 6 pounds of roofing nails. Her phone glowed like a beacon in the dark. 3 tries before the key clicked. Carl answered on the first ring. It's a fucking car part, she hissed, voice cracking. So melt it down. Carl's snarl carried clear from the patio. Scraps at $1.85 a pound. I flicked the porch light on. Lisa froze, Pontiac cylinder glinting in her fist like Excalibur. For 10 seconds, we stared through the cobwebbed window, me with my best bewildered patient act, her with naked panic. Heatwave, she stammered, pocketing the evidence. Checking the AC unit. At 2 a.m.? I rubbed my aching chest. Must be global warming. Her smile could have chilled vodka. Upstairs, she spent 47 minutes scrubbing engine grease from her nails. I fell asleep to the sweet sound of a sawzall chewing through metal in the garage right through the Decoy safe's precut weak spot. Let them taste hollow victory. The real treasure was watching them choke on rust. The note wasn't on the fridge. She'd scotch-taped it to the undercarriage of my torque wrench, the one I'd used to rebuild Sarah's first tricycle. Classic Lisa. Always weaponizing nostalgia. I deserve it. L. The L curled into a heart. Same flourish she'd used in our yearbook signatures. I laughed until my ribs ached, then laughed harder when the Decoy safe's GPS pinged from a storage unit 3 miles east of Carl's trailer park. Sarah answered on the 3rd ring, voice thick with sleep. Dad? It's 4 a.m. Your mother robbed us. I made sure the security feed played loud in the background. Lisa's lift pulling away with the safe wedged between 2 Walmart bags. Took the college fund. Silence. Then a wet inhale. Mom said you stole first. The accusation hung like a noose. Through the phone, I heard the locket chain I'd given her for graduation, 16th birthday, silver with a Ford Mustang engraving clink against the receiver. Said you were draining accounts to leave us. That's why she needed the safe. I stared at the hole where the Decoy had been. Sawdust still hung in the air from their rushed extraction. And you believed her? She showed me the bank statement. Sarah's sob morphed into something feral. The one with the Wells Fargo logo you drew on, Dad. You think I'm stupid? The monitors flickered. There it was, Lisa's masterstroke. She'd leaked my forged statement to Sarah, but doctored it further. Withdrawals for strip clubs, offshore accounts, a $12,000 charge to Desire Resorts and Casino. I traced the real safe's combination through the dust on my workbench. 36-22-15. Check your trust fund. What? The one Grandma set up. Check the balance right now. Mouse clicks. A stifled gasp. It's gone. No, pumpkin. She moved it last month. I pulled up the screenshot. Lisa signing paperwork at the credit union, wearing Sarah's stolen locket. To protect you from my gambling. Sound familiar? Sarah's breath hitched. But Mom said? Mom's a diabetic squirrel hoarding acorns for the apocalypse. I zoomed in on Lisa's getaway car's license plate. C4RL 57H. Carl's vanity tag. Check your email. The video hit her inbox as I spoke. Lisa and Carl arguing over the Decoy safe's combo, him spitting, should have taken the whole damn college fund when I said. Sarah's whisper cut deeper than Lisa's knives. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? The line died. Through the kitchen window, dawn bled across the junkyard. I opened the cookie jar, a greasy parts bin labeled gaskets, and removed Sarah's real trust fund documents. Beneath them lay Polaroids of Lisa and Carl I'd hired a meth head to take, paid in Coors Light and Adderall. The doorbell rang. Not Sarah, Carl's baby mama, Tanisha, holding a Ziploc bag of his toenail clippings. For the voodoo shit, she said, dead serious. I traded her a carburetor. Stick pins through the big toe. Works faster. Alone again, I replayed Sarah's call. Her trembling, "Mom said," echoed between the engine blocks. I hurled a spark plug at Lisa's side of the garage. It shattered her precious moments figurine, the one holding a #OneWife plaque. The GPS moved again. Lisa and Carl were heading north, towards Sarah's apartment. I texted my daughter a single screenshot, Lisa's burner phone log showing 217 calls to Carl's parole officer. "He's her contingency plan," I wrote. "You're mine." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. The real safe's contents? Untouched. The Decoy's shredded newspaper? Soaked in pheromones from the raccoon nest I'd relocated into its lining. Let them enjoy their $400,000 flea circus. The motel neon buzzed like a dying alternator, vacancy flickering in sync with my pulse. Room 214 reeked of menthols and bad decisions. I kicked the door open with a mechanic's boot, catching Carl mid-snort as he crushed painkillers on a hot rod magazine spread featuring my '69 Camaro. "Jesus, Willie." He scrambled backward, belt buckle clanking against the radiator. I was just guarding my investment. I tossed the GPS tracker on the stained comforter, a chromeplast dud from eBay. Signal cut out at mile marker 77. Figured you'd need help counting. Carl's Adam's apple bobbed. Lisa's problem now. She took the safe to Phoenix. I leaned against the door frame, savoring his flinch. Funny. Her burner phone pinged in Tucson. He lunged for the nightstand Glock. Too slow. My tire iron met his wrist with a satisfying crack. The gun skittered under the bed where roaches fled a photo of Sarah's 5th birthday, Carl grinning beside the pony I'd paid for. "She promised me $100,000. He spat, cradling his hand. "Said you'd bleed us dry unless." "Unless what?" I flipped open his laptop, search history, how to melt safes, bulletproof tires, does Walmart sell Geiger counters? Unless I conveniently croaked? Newsflash, Carl. You couldn't plan a fuck in a brothel. His laugh rattled like loose lug nuts. "You're one to talk. That heart attack stunt?" Lisa knew you were faking before the EKG flatlined. I palmed the tracker, activating its fake blinking light. Then she'll love the cesium. 137 I packed under the cash. Half-life's 20 years. Enjoy your cancer. Carl's bloodshot eyes widened. He fumbled for his phone, dialing Lisa on speaker. Her voicemail greeted us. "You've reached Jen. Leave deets for the package." "Bitch." Carl screamed at the beep. "The money's hot." Willie rigged it. Silence. Then tires screeched through the tinny speaker. Lisa's voice sliced through static. "Should have stuck to pit fights, Carl. The Phoenix guy's already got a buyer." The line died. Carl met my gaze, realization dawning like a rookie timing a distributor. She played us both. I pocketed his phone, while rising at his Aramis stench. "Phoenix guy. Contractor? Bookie? Or maybe." I flipped open his wallet, extracting a folded photo, Lisa laughing with a man in a Hard Rock Cafe shirt. "Bartender from Reno?" Carl lunged again. My boot found his gut, pinning him beneath Sarah's photo. "How long?" I ground my heel. "Since the DMV thing," he gasped. She needed someone to fake the VIN numbers. The room tilted. Vince. The '04 Silverado I'd rebuilt after Sarah's wreck. The one Lisa totaled. I dropped a motel keycard on his heaving chest. "Room 215's paid through Sunday. There's a Geiger counter in the mini fridge." His whimpers followed me into the parking lot. Across the street, a neon cactus flickered. I texted Sarah the Phoenix lead, adding a screenshot of Carl's GPS now pinging from a landfill. "Stay away from Mom," she'd written yesterday. "Working on it," I replied. The real tracker? Taped under Carl's truck bumper at mile marker 77. Let him drag that poison to Lisa's doorstep. The desert night tasted like vengeance and transmission fluid. Somewhere, a coyote howled. I harmonized all the way home. The rumor spread faster than brake fluid on asphalt. I paid Skeeter, toothless wonder who lived in the junkyard school bus, 3 cases of Pabst and a bag of meth teeth to whisper about cartel gold at the VFW. By sundown, every cop and tweaker within 50 miles was hunting a phantom safe full of blood money. Lisa's burner phone lit up like Christmas. Through the nanny cam Carl never knew I'd planted in his trailer, I watched her chuck clothes into a duffel, scarlet siren smeared across her lips like a crime scene. "You set me up." Carl limped into frame. wrist still purple from our last dance. DA's crawling up my. Lisa silenced him with a Glock I recognized, my old bedside piece, the one she'd reported stolen after Sarah's graduation. Phoenix guy says you're radioactive. She tossed him a Ziploc baggie of the Decoy safe's shredded newspaper. Enjoy your cut. The feed cut as Carl lunged. I saved the clip for Sarah's folder. She arrived unannounced, slamming her childhood bike, Schwinn Stingray I'd restored twice, against the garage. They're saying you laundered drug money. They're saying a lot. I nodded at her laptop, already playing Carl's arrest footage. SWAT team, K9 unit, the works. Notice anything? Sarah froze the video. Zoomed in. That's Mom's luggage. Same Louis Vuitton knockoff she found at Goodwill. I pulled up Lisa's Venmo, $5,000 payment to Phoenix Guy 23, with a memo, deposit for storage. Check the date. Her finger traced the screen. The day before she took the safe. Bingo. I slid over the piece de resistance. Lisa's notarized request to liquidate Sarah's 529 plan, buried in a stack of divorce filings. For your therapy. Sarah's anger crystallized into something colder. Why show me now? Because you asked. I tapped the security footage timestamp. The exact minute she'd texted, tell me you didn't plan this. She stared at the frozen image of her mother aiming Carl's gun. Did you? The truth tasted like antifreeze. Plan to protect you? Always. I handed her a USB drive containing every lie, every stolen document, every midnight whisper. Planned for her to choose money over you? Never. Sarah pocketed the drive, eyes glistening. I need time. Take the bike. I nodded at her Stingray. Tires are fresh. She paused at the driveway, sunlight glinting off the locket I'd salvaged from Carl's pawn shop haul. The real money's safe? I patted the tool cabinet behind her, the one with Sarah's art projects for still etched in crayon. Safer than you. Her smile didn't reach her eyes, but it was a start. That night, Lisa's burner finally called. I let it ring, watching the GPS flee toward Mexico with Carl's severed belt buckle pinging from the safe. Play stupid games, win stupid contraband. Carl found me elbow-deep in a catalytic converter at 3 a.m., his breath reeking of desperation and 4 roses. He tossed a manila envelope onto my workbench, the contents sliding out like a gutted serpent. Loan documents from First National, my forged signature slanting just wrong enough to be convincing. The kicker? Collateral listed as Sarah's trust fund. She made me do it, he rasped, clutching a flask with his good hand, the other still purpled from our last chat. Back when you were in the hospital for the, appendectomy. I wiped grease onto my coveralls, eyeing the notary stamp smudge date. April 19. Same month you borrowed, my impact wrench. His laugh sounded like a chokehold. She said it was for Sarah's wedding. I flicked on the pneumatic drill to mask the click of my pocket recorder. And the $50,000 casino marker? Carl froze. How'd you? Tahoe pit boss called last week. I held up the loan papers to the flickering fluorescent light. Watermark's wrong. First National uses eagles, not unicorns. His confession spilled like ruptured oil, how Lisa practiced my signature on lube receipts, how she'd promised him a cut of the loan, how they'd planned to frame me for bankruptcy. I let him talk, nodding at the right spots, until his phone buzzed with a Tucson area code. Lisa's voice crackled through, venomous and victorious. Enjoying retirement, baby? The bank just froze your accounts. I leaned into Carl's trembling phone. Hope you packed a magnet. What? For the safe. I revved the drill, drowning her sputtering. Combinations 22-15-36. Say hi to Phoenix Guy for me. The line went dead. Carl stared at the loan papers like they'd bitten him. She's gonna kill me. I tossed him a burner phone, the kind sold in meth motel vending machines. Dial 911 first. Might beat the bullet. He called 3 times before the gunshot came. Not from the phone, from the junkyard's east quadrant, where I'd parked Lisa's stolen Camry. The recording captured every decibel. Carl's gasp, the .45's bark, the coyotes howling along. Sarah texted as I played it back. Mom's in Tucson? I sent her the GPS pin, Lisa's phone now resting in a storm drain outside Carl's trailer. Bring pepper spray. The real punchline? The loan docs were legit, except the unicorn watermark. First National CEO collects My Little Pony memorabilia. Lisa's one creative touch. I left Carl's flask atop the Decoy safe's empty husk, along with a note for the cops. She prefers bourbon. Let them argue over the flavor of karma. The divorce papers arrived in a glitter envelope, Lisa's lipstick kiss smeared across the settlement demand. My lawyer, a pit bull in Prada named Martina, snorted at the terms. She wants the house, the Camaro, and a restraining order claiming you, weaponized raccoons. Only the rabid ones. I slid Carl's sworn affidavit across her desk, its margin stained with gas station coffee and regret. His notarized chicken scratch detailed Lisa's signature forgery, the DMV scams, even her secret eBay account selling my vintage torque wrenches. Martina's grin turned feral. We'll bury her in discovery. The courtroom smelled of wood polish and perjury. Lisa showed up in a church dress 2 sizes too small, Phoenix guy sulking behind her in a members-only jacket. I watched her world unravel in real time, Martina's paralegal serving subpoenas mid-testimony, the judge squinting at Lisa's forged signatures, Carl's pre-recorded deposition blasting through speakers like a death knell. This is entrapment. Lisa shrieked, scarlet siren bleeding into her collar. The judge peered over his glasses. Your LinkedIn says you're a forensic document analyst, Ms. Jenkins. Perhaps authenticate Exhibit D? Sarah's text hit as Lisa fled the stand. I can't forgive either of you. Phoenix guy chose that moment to bail, tossing Lisa's motel keycard onto the defense table. She said you were some senile hillbilly, he told me, loud enough for the gallery. Should have mentioned the whole Bond villain thing. The victory tasted like ashes. Martina secured full assets, the house, even Lisa's tacky Beanie Baby collection. But Sarah's words clung like oil smoke. I found her at the junkyard's edge, hurling ceramic shards into the crusher, what remained of Lisa's #OneMom muck. You let me think she cared, Sarah said, not turning. I placed the USB drive at her feet, the unedited footage of Lisa coaching Carl to cry during his custody testimony. I let you hope? Her boot crushed the drive. Hopes for suckers. The hollowest win came via certified mail. Lisa scrawled surrender, relinquishing parental rights in exchange for immunity from fraud charges. Sarah framed it beside her bed, a daily reminder to trust nothing softer than steel. I celebrated alone, polishing the real safe now bolted to the garage floor. The combo glinted under flickering neon, 36-22-15. Sarah's birthdate backward. Her headlights pierced the dark at 2 a.m. She didn't enter, just left a 6-pack of cores on the stoop. Warm, half flat. The note read, still hate you, but thanks for the bike. I drank to her rage, her resilience, her mother's DNA. The safe shadow stretched across the driveway like a grave no one would visit. The rumor required finesse. I bought a UV flashlight from Spencer's Gifts and spent 3 nights meticulously marking the Decoy cache with invisible pet urine stain detector, the same shit Sarah used during her failed guinea pig phase. Skeeter spread the word at his weekly AA meeting turned cartel gossip hour. Heard Willie's stash glows under blacklight. DEA's got scanners at every border patrol checkpoint. Lisa took the bait like a trout on meth. Security footage showed her scrubbing bills with bleach in a Tucson laundromat. UV pinlight clenched between her teeth as she inspected each Ben Franklin's crotch for phantom glow. When that failed, she tried bribing a pawn shop owner with my vintage Playboys to sanitize the cache. The FBI raid was almost poetic. Through Carl's old police scanner, I listened as tactical teams breached her flophouse motel room, agents shouting about marked currency, while Lisa screamed about raccoon pheromones. She escaped through a bathroom window, leaving behind a trail of shredded newspaper and a single scarlet siren-stained pump. She found me at dawn, sipping community coffee beside the restored family photo from Sarah's junior rodeo, the one Lisa claimed to have lost in the move. Her reflection in the glass looked like roadkill dressed in Salvation Army couture. Fix this, she demanded, slamming a moldy stack of 20s on the table. I gestured to the microwave. Try 30 seconds on high. Kills most pathogens. Her fist shook as she pointed to the Decoy safe's carcass in the corner. You rigged it, those agents said. Federal Code 18 U.S.C. Section 472. I took a leisurely sip. Mutilating currency. Nasty charge. The photo frame clicked open under my palm, revealing the real safe's brushed steel face. Her breath hitched at the familiar 36-22-15 combo. You kept it here the whole time? Since Sarah's first tooth. I let the door creak open, revealing stacks bound with her own pilfered hair ties. Funny how you never noticed the nail holes from moving her school pictures. She lunged. I caught her wrist, her pulse fluttering like a caged sparrow. Up close, the cracks in her facade reeked of nicotine and regret. Open it, she whispered. I tossed her the key. The lock gave way to empty shelves save for a VHS tape labeled Sarah's 5th birthday. Money's gone, I lied smoothly. Paid for Carl's funeral. Even snakes deserve closed caskets. Her wail rattled the good china. Outside, a sedan with tinted windows idled at the curb. Tick-tock, Lisa. I nodded at the feds. They'll want those 20s back. Heard prison laundromats don't take quarters. She fled barefoot, clutching the tape like a pardon. Let her watch it in some motel hellhole, the footage of her blowing out Sarah's candles, my hand steady on her shoulder, back when promises weren't currency. The safe's real contents? Still buried under 6 feet of transmission fluid drums. But the photo frame stayed open, a monument to everything she'd sold for monopoly money. Sarah's text buzzed as Lisa's silhouette shrank down the road. Saw the news. You okay? I snapped a pic of the empty safe. Spring cleaning. Her reply took 13 minutes. Keep the frame closed. Hurts less. The special agent's business card stuck to the fridge with a NASCAR magnet. I traced their number, wondering how long until Lisa traded Carl's secrets for a deal. Long enough. The Decoy's tracker now pulsed from a dumpster behind the DA's office. Let them sift through her trash. I toasted the family photo with cold coffee. Some legacies aren't worth burning. The safe door swung open with a theatrical groan. Lisa's reflection warped in its steel interior, empty except for a lone Chuck E. Cheese token from Sarah's 7th birthday. Her manicured fingers clawed at the void like she could conjure cash through force of delusion. Moved it after the kidney stone, I said, leaning against Sarah's old Schwinn. 2014, remember? You kept forgetting to refill my pain meds. She whirled, scarlet siren lips peeled back in a feral snarl. Where is it? I lobbed the Decoy's tracker at her feet, now repurposed as a keychain for Sarah's apartment. Following Carl's corpse to a lovely landfill in Nogales. Say, how's Phoenix guy enjoying his cut? Her slap barely registered. I caught her wrist, squeezing until her wedding band bit into flesh. You think I'd keep real money anywhere you'd looked? The '98 flood taught me better. Recognition flickered. The great garage flood, the night she'd accidentally left the hose running while I recovered from surgery. I'd rebuilt the walls with hidden compartments behind every third stud. Lisa's knees hit concrete. The kids. Sarah changed her last name Tuesday. I flicked the Chuck E. Cheese token into the safe. It pinged like a slot machine loss. Took your grandbaby too. Emma's middle name? Renee? After my mother. Her whisper slithered through grease-stained air. I never loved him. Just the money. I knelt. I level with her running mascara. Carl's trailer mortgage? In your name. Phoenix guy's child support? Your social. Even Skeeter's Pab's tabs got your fingerprints. She stared at the token, shoulders shaking with silent ruin. I palmed the photo from the safe, Sarah's kindergarten portrait, Lisa's face meticulously razored out. You kept? The frame's worth $2 at Goodwill. I tossed it into the oil drain. Like your promises. The garage door rumbled open. Sarah's silhouette blazed in the afternoon sun, baby Emma clinging to her hip. Lisa's gasp curdled into a sob. Mommy's busy, pumpkin, I called, steering Sarah backward with a glance. Grown-up talk. The door rolled shut, severing Lisa's choked weight. I dropped a motel keycard into the safe. Room 214's paid up. Same one where you and Carl planned the Vin scam. Her laugh sounded like a death rattle. Still scheming. Still learning. I spun the combo lock closed. 36-22-15. Funny thing about safes, Lise. They only work if you care what's inside. The real cash? Distributed as college fund donations under fake names. The receipts? Buried with Carl's ashes. Sarah's engine faded down the road. Lisa stared at the Chuck E. Cheese token gleaming in the dark. I'm still her mother, she rasped. I flicked off the lights. Not in any way that matters. The click of the padlock echoed final. Some vaults stay sealed. Carl's knock came at 2 a.m., syncopated like a misfiring cylinder. I found him slumped against the tool cabinet, right leg oozing through a duct-tape tourniquet, reeking of gangrene and regret. The gunshot wound matched the .45 caliber. Lisa lost poetic justice with a side of sepsis. "I'll talk," he wheezed, tossing a Ziploc bag of meth teeth onto my workbench. "But I want immunity. And a new identity." I stirred his coffee with the same screwdriver I'd used to puncture Lisa's tires. "Best I can do is a tetanus shot and a bus ticket to Nogales." His laugh curdled into a cough. "I've got leverage." Lisa's burner phone. Buried it under the third hydrant at Barclay Park. The non-obvious clue hit. Skeeter's missing Rottweiler had been digging there all week. I slid over a prepaid burner. "Call the DA. Mention the Tahoe marker." Carl's confession unfurled like a grease fire. Lisa skimming Sarah's college fund, falsifying my dementia diagnosis, even sabotaging the brakes on Sarah's prom card to frame me. I recorded every wheezed syllable, the mic hidden in a blackened molar from Skeeter's payment. "Why now?" I asked as he signed the affidavit with trembling hands. He stared at Sarah's bike. "She sent me a Father's Day card once. Drew a fucking pony." The DA took Carl at dawn, his stretcher squeaking like a shopping cart of bad choices. I texted Sarah the audio file with a single line. The pony was purple. Her voicemail arrived as I degreased the molar. "I'm sorry, but I need time." The playback looped while I unearthed Lisa's burner, password protected, but reeking of Phoenix Guy's Drakkar Noir. Inside, a thread to an unknown number. "Ready to meet our daughter?" The reply, "After the money clears." I traced the number to a Phoenix preschool. Principal's name, Jason Miller. Sarah's first boyfriend. The Molar's recorder held one final gem. Carl's rasped, "She's got a kid with him. Born right after your Vegas trip." Sarah's graduation photo smiled from the toolbox. 2008. The summer she'd volunteered at Bible camp. I left the burner in a cop mailbox, along with a Chuck E. Cheese token. Let Lisa explain the family discount. Sarah's bike disappeared that night. The note said, "Checking something. Don't follow." Underneath, a smeared lipstick heart, scarlet siren. The safe's combo clicked as dawn broke. 36-22-15. Inside, a new addition. Sarah's discarded locket. Empty, but polished. Some debts even money can't clean. The courtroom smelled like lemon polish and perjury. Lisa's orange jumpsuit clashed with her roots. 2 inches of gray she'd hidden under scarlet siren since Sarah's first ballet recital. When the judge dismissed her claims with a bored wave, she lunged at me, shackles clanking like cheap wind chimes. "You planned all of this." Spittle flecked the defense table where Carl's affidavit lay open to his confession about the forged dementia papers. Every goddamn step. I adjusted my tie, same one I'd worn to Sarah's custody hearing. "Plan to love you?" "Guilty." "Plan to trust you?" "Double guilty." The bailiff hauled her back as Sarah entered, baby Emma clutching a Chuck E. Cheese token on a string. My granddaughter's eyes, Lisa's exact hazel, tracked the chaos with infant curiosity. "Happy?" Sarah asked, her voice flatter than Kansas. I nodded at the empty plaintiff's seat. Your mother always hated monologues. Outside, February wind sliced through Lisa's threats as reporters swarmed. Sarah's hug lasted exactly 3.2 seconds, the same duration as her childhood goodnight kisses. "You're still a schemer," she murmured into my jacket, Emma's token digging into my ribs. "Better than a thief." She pulled back, studying the courthouse steps where Lisa was being stuffed into a squad car. "Did you? Plan it, I mean." The truth tasted like old motor oil. "Plan to protect you?" "Every day since the ultrasound." I pressed the token into Emma's palm. Lisa's fingerprints still etched in the copper from her last desperate grab. Planned for her to choose greed over flesh and blood. Not even Satan's that creative. Sarah's SUV taillights vanished down Adams Street. In my pocket, Lisa's final note from jail fluttered, a demand for Emma's baby pictures in exchange for family closure. The envelope contained one photo, Sarah's ultrasound, Lisa's face scribbled out with a grease pencil. Martina materialized, heels clicking like a countdown. Appeal's dead, but she's threatening a memoir. Title it How to Lose Everything in 10 Easy Steps. I handed her the Chuck E. Cheese token. Chapter 1. Marry a Mechanic. The real victory came at midnight, alone with the safe. Inside, Sarah's Father's Day card from 2009, a crayon Camaro with world's okayest dad in glitter glue. Beneath it, Lisa's wedding vows, notarized by time and betrayal. The garage door creaked open. No triumphant return, just Skeeter's feral cat dragging a Decoy safe scrap. I toasted the shadows with Carl's abandoned flask. Some blueprints stay buried. The visitation room reeked of ammonia and hopelessness. Lisa's orange jumpsuit hung loose, her scarlet siren replaced by chapped lips and tremor hands. She had the family photo I'd brought like it was a subpoena. "You win," she croaked, chains clinking as she gestured at my clean-shaven jaw. "Enjoying the villain glow-up?" I slid the picture across the bulletproof glass. Emma's onesie read Jenkins in Sarah's careful embroidery, our daughter's married name, chosen 6 months after the trial. The kicker? The toy horse Emma clutched had 5 legs, just like the botched Wells Fargo logo. "Third birthday party," I said. "They're teaching her to change spark plugs." Lisa's cracked nail traced Sarah's face. "She'll never forgive you either." The guard coughed behind me. 5 minutes. "And ma'am, your commissary request for razors was denied." Again, Lisa's smirk faltered. I waited until the guard retreated before tapping the photo's edge. "Check the frame." She flipped it over. Taped to the back was the Chuck E. Cheese token from the safe, now threaded onto Emma's discarded hospital bracelet. Lisa's breath hitched. "No one wins," I said. Her fist slammed the glass. "You took everything." "Took?" I leaned closer, voice low. "You auctioned our life for scrap. I just hauled it to the crusher." A wet laugh escaped her. "Sarah's middle name. Renee? Your mother's. Your idea." I stood, knees popping. "Back when you joked about naming her after your other mother-in-law." The guard reappeared, mouthing hang herself and bedsheet with grim professionalism. Lisa's mask dissolved into heaving sobs that shook the bolted table. At the exit, I nodded at the token still clutched in her trembling hand. "Keep it. Collect 4 more. You get a shitty stuffed animal." The Arizona sun blinded me on the steps. Sarah's latest text glowed on my phone. A video of Emma singing, "You Are My Sunshine" off-key. I deleted it as agreed. The real photo? Still buried in the safe behind Sarah's ultrasound. This copy was a prop, edges dipped in nicotine from Carl's last pack. Let Lisa smell his ghost every night. Some fires don't die. They just learn to burn quieter. The Veterans Hall smelled of burnt coffee and unearned gratitude. I stood at the podium, Sarah's donated check glaring under TV lights like a neon confession. $200K to the Wounded Warriors Fund. Her idea scrawled on a post-it I'd found taped to my coffee pot 6 months after the trial. "My daughter believes in second chances." I lied to the crowd, gripping the mic too tight. Sarah sat in the back row, Emma asleep against her shoulder, both wearing matching denim jackets I didn't recognize. Afterward, she lingered by the punch bowl, eyeing the safe's replica displayed for the cameras, a prop filled with Monopoly money and my old dog tags. "The real one's still hidden," I offered, adjusting Emma's crooked bow. Sarah stepped back. "Don't care anymore." Carl's overdose text came as reporters swarmed. 3 words from a Nogales burner. "He's gone." Skeeter. The funeral cost $4,216. Cheap, considering the headstone I chose, a polished slab etched with a rattlesnake encircling his name. Sarah didn't attend. "Why bother?" A CNN reporter barked at the graveside, Mike grazing the coffin's cheap veneer. I tossed a Chuck E. Cheese token into the hole. Even snakes deserve a grave. Keeps the vultures guessing. Her follow-up sliced deeper. "Was it worth losing your family?" Cameras leaned in. I saw Sarah's SUV idling down the block, brake lights flaring as if urging silence. "Depends." I crushed Carl's flask under my boot, bourbon soaking into parched earth. "You ever price a soul?" The clip went viral. Mechanic philanthropist mocks media at criminal's funeral. Sarah's only comment arrived via emoji. A snake, a money bag, a baby bottle. I found her at the garage weeks later, Emma tracing dust angels on the safe. "She asked about you," Sarah said, not meeting my eyes. I handed her a forged photo, Lisa holding a newborn Sarah, my face crudely glued over hers. "Tell her I'm the villain in someone else's story." "The real money?" divvied into safe deposit boxes across 3 states. The combo? Emma's birth date. Backwards. Alone that night, I toasted Carl's headstone with apple cider vinegar. The safe hummed its old song, Sarah's locket now looped around the handle. Inside, a new addition, Emma's first tooth, wrapped in Lisa's final plea for forgiveness. The garage door never sounded so heavy. The garage air hung thick with the scent of fresh sawdust and unresolved history. I'd rebuilt the place board by board after the trial, but the ghost lingered, oil stains shaped like Lisa's high heels, a phantom whiff of Carl's Aramis cologne near the compressor. The real safe wasn't some fancy Fort Knox knockoff. Just a gutted craftsman cabinet I'd salvaged the week Sarah was born, its dinted drawers now housing a lifetime of receipts and regrets. I found the photo tape behind the third drawer, Lisa at 22, hair teased like a Bon Jovi groupie, laughing on the hood of my '69 Camaro. Our first road trip, back when her smile didn't come with hidden tariffs. The edges were singed from the time she'd accidentally tossed my toolbox contents into a bonfire. I let the Zippo flame kiss the corner, watching her teenage face curl into ash. The draft from Sarah's idling SUV swirled the remnants into a mini tornado above the workbench. Her knock came soft but insistent. 3 wraps, our old secret code for ice cream emergency. Dad. I brought coffee. Through the grease-smudged window, I saw Emma's silhouette in the car seat, kicking feet to some daycare jingle. The safe's combo burned my tongue. June 12, 21. Emma's birthday backward. I hesitated, then spun the lock shut with a satisfying clunk. Let her wonder why the cabinet rattled now. Black, 2 sugars. I called, sweeping ashes into a Folgers can labeled emergency brake fluid. Her footsteps paused at the threshold. Since when do you drink it black? Since the creamer started tasting like apologies. The door creaked open. Emma's giggle sliced through the tension, her tiny fingers reaching for the Chuck E. Cheese token I'd wired into a keychain. Sarah hovered, holding 2 steaming cups and a look I hadn't seen since teaching her to parallel park, part hope, part suspicion. I nodded at the safe. Yours if you want it. What's inside? Depends. I sipped the coffee, still too sweet. Old habits. You here as my kid or her spy? The cabinet trembled as a semi roared past. Inside, the real contents whispered, Lisa's unopened jail letters, Carl's sobriety chip, every Father's Day card Sarah ever half-signed. Emma broke free, careening toward my open toolbox. Sarah caught her with mechanic reflexes neither of us knew she'd inherited. Both, she said. The safe stayed locked. But when she left, the coffee cup wore a fresh lipstick ring, Scarlet Siren, discontinued in 2012. I buried it with the ashes. Some fires refused to die.